Hi everyone and welcome back to Googie's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis and today I want to show you how to make my yummy chocolate brandy butter biscuits or cookies. Today I'm going to be making my really yummy chocolate brandy biscuits or cookies. These are delicious and they are a great treat at Christmas as well. They're really great if you want to give them as a gift or if you simply just wanting something sweet to eat after your Christmas dinner. I'm making them for my family today, and while I was making them I thought I'd share the recipe with you. So here is how to make my delicious chocolate brandy biscuits or cookies. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cream my butter and my sugar together. So I have in this bowl here 150 grams of butter that I've tried to soften earlier. It may be a bit hard at the moment, but hopefully it will soften once I start mixing it. And then I have 150 grams of coconut sugar, or you can use brown sugar or light brown sugar as well. The reason I'm using coconut sugar is because it simply slides through the liver a bit easier, and we have a lot of sugar at Christmas, so I wanted something to slide through my family's liver a little bit easier after all the sugar they're probably going to consume. So yes, I've got 150 grams of coconut sugar here. And then I have some brandy here. I've noticed that I don't have a lot, but I don't actually need a lot for this recipe. I'm only going to put a capful in. I think in the original recipe I said 1 to 2 capfuls. So yeah, I think that's about as much as I'm going to put in. You only need a taster really. These aren't meant to be alcoholic at all. And also my son is going to eat them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cream the butter and the sugar together. So that's my butter and my sugar all creamed together with the brandy, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 200 grams of oats in a separate bowl. So in this bowl I have ground up 200 grams of oats, as I just said. I ground these in my NutriBullet, so if you have a NutriBullet or a blender, then grounding oats is a really great way to do that. And then what I've got is 150 grams of brown rice flour. In the original recipe I think I put in 100 grams of almonds and then 50 grams of brown rice flour, but I didn't have any ground almonds today, so I'm just using the brown rice flour, and I will change that in the recipe that you'll see below as well. And then I have here 50 grams of raw cacao powder. Now you can use cocoa powder as well if you want to, and I'm just going to add that in as well. You could also use a wholemeal flour if you wanted to make these with flour. The reason I'm using oats is they're gluten-free oats, and I have a slight gluten intolerance, so I use oats instead of flour because I find that the oats make the biscuit go crunchy. So it gives the biscuit a really nice crunchy texture. So that's why I'm using oats. And then I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of baking powder to this mixture as well. And then I'm also going to add in 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon as well. And the cinnamon just gives it a really lovely natural sweet flavour. If you don't like cinnamon, then you can always leave this out if you don't want to have it in there. They are sweet enough, but I just like to add that extra bit of sweetness, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to mix all of these around, and then I'm going to mix the flour and the sugar and cream mixture together. So I'm going to mix these until they form a dough ball. In the original recipe I think I added cream to this as well, and I think I may need to do that again. In a moment I may need to go and get the cream from the fridge. I was thinking I might get away with not using it, but I think, to be honest with you, I'm going to need to use the cream. So excuse me a moment, I'm just going to go and get some cream. In this pot here I have 150 mils of cream, and I'm just going to add a little bit at a time to see how it glues together So I'm just adding a little bit at a time and hoping that it will glue together. You need to find one big dough ball. So that's what you need to make right at the end. I think I'm going to need to use all of this cream. So I'm just going to continue mixing this around now. So in the end I used all 150 mils of cream and I made this sort of dough ball. This is a biscuit dough ball. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flour my board with some brown rice flour. You can use ordinary flour for this recipe if you want to, but I like to use brown rice flour. As I said, I'm gluten intolerant, so this is easier for me to digest. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of the biscuit dough and I'm just simply going to roll it out like so. So I think I'm probably going to roll this quite thinly if I can. Brandy biscuits, I always remind me of Christmas, and I always remember Brandy snaps, I think it is. My dad never really made biscuits. I think we used to make biscuits together, but when I got older, he never really, it wasn't something that he sort of made a lot of. But yeah, I always remember us buying Brandy biscuits, I think, and I really like them. So I'm going to try and do these quite thinly. So I've probably rolled that out to about 1/4 centimetre like so. And I'm just going to put that on a spare board now. And I'm just going to keep doing this and repeating the process until I've used up all of the biscuit dough. So I've finished rolling out my biscuit dough and I have 2 lovely trays of biscuits. And I'm going to put these in the fridge now, and the reason I put them in the fridge is simply because they make them go a little bit crunchier. When you cook them from cold, the biscuit I find is a lot crunchier and crumblier, and I love a crunchy, crumbly biscuit. So I'm off to put these in the fridge now. While my biscuits are in the fridge, I'm going to preheat my oven to 200 degrees. So my biscuits have been in the fridge for about 30 minutes. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer them to my Pampered Chef stones. If you haven't got Pampered Chef stones, don't worry, you can always use a baking tray with a sheet of greaseproof paper on the top. Make sure you oil the greaseproof paper as well, because it'll make things come off easier. But yeah, I'm just using my Pampered Chef stones. And the thing I love about Pampered Chef stones, which I say in all of my videos, is these absorb the badness and keep the goodness. So the stoneware helps to take out the badness from the food, so the bits your body doesn't like, and it will just leave the goodness. I've had these for a few years, and I bought them in the UK, but unfortunately I think Pampered Chef has now left the UK. But I'm sure you can get something similar online. This one here isn't a Pampered Chef stone. It's actually one I bought from Amazon. And it still does a very good job, the same as the Pampered Chef stones do. So yes, unfortunately I broke my last round stone. I was very upset when I did it. So I bought myself a new one from Amazon. It's not as good as the Pampered Chef, but it still does a good job. And it still makes the biscuits really nice and crunchy as well. And I wanted to mention as well, if you wanted to make these vegan, you could use vegan butter or margarine, and you could use something like coconut cream as a replacement as well. I'm not sure, however, if the Brandy is vegan or not. So don't use Brandy if you're not sure and you're a vegan. That's what I say. But yes, now I'm just going to put these biscuits onto my stoneware, and then once I put them all on, I will put them back into the oven again. So the biscuits are now on my stoneware, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these back into the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. What I've noticed is the Pampered Chef stoneware tends to cook quicker than the Amazon one. So these will cook a little bit quicker than that one. So if you have an Amazon stone that you are using for this recipe, then it probably will take about 15 to 20 minutes rather than 10 to 15. Our biscuits are done, and I'm going to take these out of the oven and I'm going to leave them to cool. I think I'm going to leave the bottom row for a few minutes more though, because they still look a bit anemic to me. They still look a bit pale, so I'm just going to leave those until they go golden brown. I've taken these out of the oven and I've left them to cool for a little while on this cooling rack, and they smell delicious. I'm going to have these with a cup of tea in a little while and a little sit down, so I'm really looking forward to that. But the recipe I will link in the description box below for you. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.